I gotta ask you something, Charlie. We're waiting for Tim Dillard. So while we wait for Tim Dillard,
Tim is in the studio as well.
He's here.
He's here.
Here at the building. Oh, no. There he is.
At the building.
I'm looking outside the parking lot.
I'm like, studios.
Tim King is awesome on his day off. Hey, I can hang out with Sparky.
I forgot I have to specify.
Yes,
old men, yeah.
I'm old. You need to specify. Dang it. Tim Dillard joined the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. Tim, I have a question for you and Charlie. I want to know how both of you would have handled the situation I was involved in last night. I went to Kohl's, and it doesn't really matter where I went to because it doesn't involve them necessarily. But just to give you some background. So went to Kohl's last night to get a sweatshirt for Kay because today they can wear Packer apparel to work, whatever else. She wanted a sweatshirt. Fine. So I run over there. Now, they close at 10 o'clock. I got there at like 9:30, 9:40, something like that. So late. So right kind of before closing to give you an idea of what time it is. There is a lady who has her phone on speaker and is playing music of some sort. And then there's like commercials, whatever, on full blast on her phone, walking around the store in departments. And me and the others that are there are kind of like looking at you like, really? You're going to do this? And literally all the way around. I get the sweatshirt. I go stand in line. Now, by this point, the ladies walked all the way around the stores by the cashier register. I swear to God, we were walking at the same pace in and out of departments. So now she's there. The cashier goes, "What is that?" Quite loud. And I was like, "Oh, that's that lady over there who's playing music from her phone." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, she's been doing it the whole time I was in the store." She's like, "I'm so sorry." So I said nothing. Nobody said a word to this lady the entire time. We just let her do her business because there wasn't a ton of customers in the store. So nobody said anything. Would you have said something, Tim Dillard? How would you have approached it?
I would not have said anything. Who knows?
You would have just let her go.
Yeah, why not? I mean, unless it's like one of my kids walking around my house when I'm trying to be on a Zoom call, or something like. It's a store. I don't care. I mean, everybody probably would appreciate, headphones or something like that. But maybe she was there to buy headphones, and so, or maybe she had headphones in and thought she was Bluetoothed up. Sometimes you feel like you're hooked up, and maybe you're not. So.
All right.
Maybe she just did not want to miss a song that was coming on the radio or whatever. I don't know.
Man. It just went on for like 15 minutes in the store. It wasn't a song. We listened to like 12 songs. Charlie,
well, honest, I don't spend 15 minutes in too many stores. I don't know.
Really?
Sounds like it took you a long time to find what you were looking for.
Man, like I go to Gertie. We went to Gertie Mills a couple months ago. We were there for 4 hours.
That's insane.
Look at Tim Dillard's face on YouTube right now. It's
4 hours. Insane. There's not many places I want to spend 4 hours.
4 hours walking around shopping with a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old, and then me and her. Yeah, 4 hours. So that's real. Charlie, would you have said something?
No, probably not. I don't like confronting people.
We're all wusses then.
I don't like
I was just checking.
Causing issues. I know I'm a guy who could probably deal with a lot of issues. I'm a larger man. But at the same time, I don't want to get into any issues. So I avoid just any confrontation usually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say this too. I have 3 kids, and we've done the traveling thing where we've been on a plane and our toddlers are crying or screaming or whatever. So you either go one or two ways. Either that just drives you insane now into eternity, or like me, I'm kind of used to it. Just because I went through it for so many years that if I'm on a bus, if I'm on a plane and somebody's kids are going crazy, which is similar in the vein of what you're talking about, where there's loud music in a space. Yeah. It's white noise to me. Like I don't even hear it. It doesn't bother me anymore. If you live enough life experience, I don't feel like stuff like that should really just bother you all that much. But I know what you're saying. In a public space, maybe put some headphones in, but who knows? We don't know what that lady was going through or the situation she had.
20 going on 21. I had an 18-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So I've lived life. And I'm telling you, I was bubbling up, and I could feel the heat rising in my face because this lady, I swear to you, was following me around the store, and I was losing my mind. And I just had to get out of there. It's like, I've got to get out of here before I say something. I got to get out quickly. I got out. I said nothing. I started nothing. I got out, but my goodness gracious. Okay, now back to the Brewers. Sorry. Tim Dillard, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin Brewers analyst. Follow on Twitter at Dillard. I tweeted that out last night, and everybody starts tweeting me back with experiences that they've had in public places about people doing similar type stuff. So clearly she's not the only one. Okay, so this Brewers team, as we sit right now, is in a situation where they're trying to give, it seems like, every starter an extra day of rest and kind of getting out of the routine a little bit. Not being in that routine, getting that extra day of rest, how much do you think that messes with a pitcher, if at all, as we go through the month of September here?
Well, I think they probably ask each guy individually, hey, do you need a day off? Do you want a day off? And they have stats on everything. What's Freddy Peralta's stats when he gets 4 days rest, when he gets 5, when he gets 6? I mean, they have that available. So they're just trying to maximize to make sure these guys stay healthy. But it's going to be on an individualized basis. That's why they wait to see who they're going to announce in what order, because some guys are like, no, keep me on whatever rest, and they can kind of flip flop accordingly. But I think they are in a good spot where they can afford to do this. Think about those teams that are on the fringe. They have to get their studs out there nonstop to make sure they have the best chance to win some games when there's only 15 games left in baseball. So I mean, the Brewers, if they want to do that to keep their guys healthy, I don't think it's going to mess with pitchers too much. They throw enough bullpens and flat grounds, and especially when the guys are adding up and having 100 innings, 150 innings, these guys know what they're doing.
The other thing about this is, you get swept against the Rangers. Now, game 2, they were hitting hard balls and they were all being caught. So whatever, it is what it is. Then yesterday, they had some opportunities and couldn't take advantage of it or whatever. But having said that, I think while every game counts the same, and I understand that, and I've heard that my whole life, a game in April is one just like a game in September is one, fine. But the amount of pressure that comes with being in September in a race is a little bit different than in April when there's not a race, because obviously baseball players can't be on a roller coaster like us fans where every win and loss dictates your mood for the rest of the day. So you have to be more even keel. But in this situation where they're so far out in front and you get swept in September, probably has more of a feel maybe of April than it does if you're in the thick of a pennant race and just gave it back a game or two.
Yeah, if you go by straight up statistical equations, right, with the math, the math wasn't mathing just because the Rangers hadn't been playing that great. They had lost like all of their studs in the last couple weeks, and the Brewers just came off of destroying the Pirates in 3 games. So you're like, everything was adding up to the Brewers to come in and be a wrecking ball against the Rangers, but that just wasn't the case. They played really good baseball. I watched all 3 games because I was there. Brian Anderson and I were just like every inning going, man, the Rangers they're better. They're better than I guess were advertised. And you weren't expecting that from some of the younger players when someone like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien are hurt. And they had a couple of heroes, and their pitching staff was actually phenomenal. They gave up some laser beams, but every single time somebody was, there to catch it. Freddy Peralta had a great line post-game interview where he was just like, hey, we just beat the Padres 3, and then we just got beat 3. He's like, sometimes that happens. Doesn't mean we're not playing hard. So that's what I chalk it up to. The Rangers played some good baseball.
Yeah, that Pirate sweep was nice. Takes a little bit of a sting, I guess, off of this. A pressing question. Jake Berger, Rowdy Tellez, same guy?
No, you mean like
I swear to God, Jake Berger came up to bed. I was like, damn, he looks like Rowdy Tellez a lot. And then Rowdy Tellez came up, and then Charlie, my producer's like, you're right. They kind of do look a lot alike.
Yeah, there's some resemblance there. Sure. But, one's lefty, one's righty.
Yeah.
And if you know baseball, then you can completely tell them apart. But
right.
I know what you're saying. Guys that can swing the bat and looking to do damage.
Yes.
Yeah, I was surprised. Rowdy only got 1 at bat, I think, in that series, which, I was surprised. I thought he'd at least get a start at first base, somewhere in the series, but didn't. But Berger, I mean, he was the difference maker in yesterday's game. Couple of bombs. Wow.
Yes. And that's the other thing I want to get into. And I'm sure if you had the answer to this, then you could fix it. So I understand. But I understand 30 scoreless innings, which is remarkable for Freddy Peralta. It doesn't happen every day. Then that's broken up by Berger's solo home run that he has. And we love Freddy Peralta, and the stats look great. And he's like, but people think he's like 3rd or 4th in the Cy Young voting or whatever people are guessing at right now for Peralta, which is all great. And I get that. But I'm telling you, as a fan, I get so frustrated when you look up somewhat consistently with him, and we're in the fourth inning and we're already at like 80 pitches, and the opposing pitcher might be at like 60 pitches or something like that. And it's like, damn, like he's good and he doesn't give up runs, but you just can't get the length out of him like you would out of that guy that's the leading guy in the rotation. Is there philosophy? Is there something that you can point out with Freddie of why it seemingly consistently gets to that?
Yeah, great question. He'll throw 100 pitches and go 5 innings, and some pitchers are they're just like that. That's not what he wants to do, but he does strike out a lot of people, which takes a lot of pitches. I think we're still on the heels of someone like Corbin Burns in his Cy Young year, where he would strike out everybody, but he was striking them out on 3 or 4 pitches. It didn't take 6 or 7. And I think Freddie has found success just because he is limiting, contact. Very little contact. It's almost like he'd rather just walk you or strike you out, which is fine. It's a great way. He's had great success. His 6 games before this one yesterday were phenomenal. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You want guys to be like, okay, throw less than 20 pitches an inning. That's a real thing. But when things are going great, you don't really complain about it. But if things aren't going great, then you're like, well, why can't you just do that? Sometimes you have your stuff and it works perfectly. But every pitcher's different. But would we want Freddie to throw 5 pitches every inning and throw complete game shut pieces? That would be cool. Or what about 7 innings on 100 pitches, only strike out 5 and doesn't have any walks, but gives up 2 or 3 runs? Right now, he was hitting a stretch where he didn't want to give up any runs for 5 innings. That's the stretch he was on, 5 or 6 innings. That plays too, because you could turn it over to a bullpen, but you can't have a whole rotation of those type of guys because that destroys your bullpen. And guys play different roles at different times. It's frustrating to me because I was a contact guy. I threw sinkers. So I'm like, just throw sinkers. But then again, I wasn't in the big leagues that long. So apparently what I was doing wasn't what they were looking for. But Freddy Peralta puts up zeros more often than not. So I don't care if it takes him 30 pitches, just put up zeros.
Tim Dillard, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin Brewers analyst. Follow him on Twitter at Tim Dillard. Brewers Cardinals tomorrow. We'll be at Camp Bar with this show and the leadoff show tomorrow from 2 until 7 o'clock tomorrow. Camp Bar in the 3rd Ward. Come out, say hi. Have all kinds of different paraphernalia to give away as well. Brought to you by our good friends at Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Okay, here's another one for you. So all of these guys aren't going to start in a playoff series who's currently in the starting rotation. Do you start to think about what that looks like? And then if the plan is player X is going to be coming out of the bullpen and that's the plan right now, do you start to get that player a couple of opportunities out of the bullpen to have that experience prior to the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know if that's necessary or not. There's some guys that I would definitely not put in the bullpen. I just feel like they're more valuable as starters. Someone like Woodruff, not putting him in the pen. I honestly wouldn't even put Mizrowski in the pen unless you just knew there was only going to be like 4 guys. I don't think you should put Quintana there. I think Priester should be a starter. But they hit a run. All 5 starters for the Brewers, all of them pitched phenomenal. There was a 5-game stretch recently that was just nothing but awesome. And if they go to a 5-game series, they skip the wild card thing to go straight to a 5-game series. This team is built for 5-game series, 7-game series, because they have a lot of good starters. So I don't know if they choose their best 3 and because of all the off days, they can, circle back and hit these guys sooner. But I feel comfortable with all of those guys. And the bullpen, I mean, especially getting healthier. Grant Anderson's back, should be getting Mears back at late September. McGill just threw a live BP the other day. So start getting the bullpen back together. It won't matter. They're going to go at it like everything's the same. Normal game. Here it is. There's no reason to do anything different when it comes to playoffs because the team has played so well all season long with a certain formula of these guys in the starting rotation and these guys in the bullpen.
You talk about those off days, the divisional round. Andrew Wagner brought it up the other day when he was on looking ahead at that format. It looks like it's going to be a game, an off day, a game, a travel day, a game. So you're going to have off days in between each one of those first 3 games. That essentially kind of allows that bullpen to reset, right?
Definitely. And that's why another reason. Why would you want to put somebody in the bullpen if, you don't have to in that way. But also, if they skip the first round and they got to wait 5 days or whatever, 4 days off, then they play a game and then another day off. Like, that's more concerning. Like, they can't figure out a better way to do this, but whatever. I mean, you prepare the best you can for those. But I mean, I like our bullpen. I like the bullpen. I like watching this team play because each one of those guys is a contributing factor in what they do and how they do it. Who knows if they get DL Hall back? Aaron Ashby's been fantastic. I mean, the other day he got jumped a little bit, but if you look back at just the Ranger series and some of the hiccups that they had, a lot of the hits were off pitches that were not even in the zone. So you got to credit. I don't like tipping my cap. You hear that all the time. Oh, let's tip our cap to the other team. As a former player, I'm like, no, who cares about the other team? But if I'm a pitcher and I throw a pitch that's out of the zone, the pitch I want to throw, and a guy does something, like gets the base hit, hits a homer, like, you almost have to be like, what else you want from me? It's not like I made a mistake down the middle. Berger hit a ball that was like 6 inches above the zone for a homer. Osuna had like 3 base hits in the series on pitches that were probably going to hit the dirt. Things like that. You're just like, what else you want me to do? I got him in the right count. I threw the right pitch and they got a hit out of it. Not sure I was going with any of that, but the pitching staff has been good. So I'm not going to, the pitching staff start these guys. The relievers are good. Everything else in between with all the off days, that's just another hurdle for any team to kind of go through.
It's Tim Dillard, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin Brewers analyst. Follow him on Twitter at DimTillard. Brewers Cardinals back at it again at American Family Field coming up tomorrow night. We'll talk to you again next Thursday. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Sparky. I can't wait to go out in public and listen to my phone on loud with no headphones.
I'm telling you right now, you better shoot video if you do it and see how long it takes somebody to walk up to you and say something, because that would be amazing. There he is. Take care. There he is, Tim Dillard, joining us, Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.